Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
Tonight at the Barclay.
Something is happening.
Tonight at the Barclay.
The Barclay in Irvine.
Live entertainment. You don't want to miss it. Tonight at the Barclay.
Cue the lights, take your seat, and it's right down the street at the Barclay.
Porgy and Bess and My Fair Lady will be showing at the Irvine Barclay Theater. Here to give us all the details and more for this very unique concert, we welcome Kevin Vanden Elzen with the West Coast Jazz Big Band. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's wonderful to get to know you and meet you. And Kevin's joining us all the way from the Netherlands. Can you believe that?
Yep.
You're
that's
surviving out there, Kevin, but you'll be back in LA soon enough, right?
Yep, barely surviving the cold.
Yeah, well, bundle up there and come back home soon. So, Kevin, tell us what inspired you and Josh Nelson to create a show that merges Broadway musicals with iconic jazz interpretations?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the My Fair Lady part of the show that we're doing is actually our most favorite recording. It's literally our desert island recording. And we brought this idea over to Craig Springer, who's the current president of the Irvine Barclay Theater, with the message that we want to perform this really badly. And he said, yeah, it sounds great, it's fantastic, but it's only a suite of about 45, 50 minutes, so it's not enough to fill an entire concert with. So then Craig offered us the idea of performing Porgy and Bess and make it into a show that merges Broadway with jazz.
Wonderful. Do you hope or anticipate that this may be the start of something new?
Nice one. I surely hope so. It's very special that we're playing these two different recordings back to back, because Porgy and Bess, the Miles Davis version, which was arranged by Gil Evans, doesn't get performed that very often, and it has been quite a few years that the My Fair Lady version of Shelley Mann, which is arranged by the legendary John Williams, that has been performed. That I believe that might have been a decade that it hasn't been performed. And the sheet music for it was lost also for quite a while. So we're very lucky that we get to play this.
Wow. So why was it chosen as the centerpiece for the first half of the performance?
Well, the Porgy and Bess was chosen because we worked in conjunction with Craig Springer, and we definitely like the idea of performing a version of Porgy and Bess. There are a number of jazz versions actually of Porgy and Bess. There's one other one that I can think of. And we were also talking for a little while about performing a version of West Side Story. But then we also looked at instrumentation of My Fair Lady, which has French horns in it and a tuba. And that coincides also with the Porgy and Bess section, because there is a French horn section and a tuba included in that as well. So we were like, well, we can do Porgy and Bess because we already sit on a similar instrumentation. So that, that's the functional part, the functional answer. And then also because of the fact that when we were listening to Porgy and Bess, that it was just, it's a great piece of music, super, it's like a classic jazz recording, but doesn't get really performed that much anymore. So that's why we decided to do Porgy and Bess for the first half, and then My Fair Lady for the second.
I see. So as a child, did you play any of these songs? I mean, did you grow up knowing about them, or is this something that's a little bit newer on your radar, even though they are classics?
Well, I think when you start to study and listen to jazz, you hit the standard summertime fairly quickly, and summertime is in Porgy and Bess. So yes. And in My Fair Lady, there are two familiar standards, On the Street Where You Live and Get Me to the Church on Time. And those are classics that Frank Sinatra made very famous. So I think the answer is yes, that I did get influenced by certain songs pretty early in my musical career.
So, in terms of this, the West Coast Jazz Big Band meets, Porgy and Bess and My Fair Lady, you're all, this trifecta of perfection coming together to create this unique concert. How did you go about selecting such an accomplished lineup of musicians to bring this vision to life?
Yeah, also a very good question. We were also discussing with Craig Springer about this. We already had a few names in mind because the My Fair Lady portion requires a jazz quintet with an additional big band horn section. So for the My Fair Lady part, we asked Benny Benack III to play trumpet and sing. And in the original My Fair Lady, the male vocal is by the legendary Jack Sheldon. And then the trumpet part is actually played by a very unknown trumpet player. His name was Don Sleet. So Benny is doing two roles in one. And then Nicole McCabe is playing on alto saxophone. She takes the role of the alto saxophone player on the recording. And then Leah Booth is taking the role of the female vocalist, which was Irene Krall in the original recording. And I know because I'm good friends with Leah, I know that Irene is a very has a very deep influence on her. And Benny right now is one of the premier trumpet players and vocalists in the United States. He's only maybe a year older than me, but he has won an Emmy Award, and I think he also won a Tony Award, and he's just playing all over the globe. And he was the first guy that we thought of that could do this with us. And Nicole McCabe is just burning on alto saxophone. So we tried to make connections with certain players who we thought that would have a connection also with the original recording.
Sure, sure. So it seems like a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of talent coming in for just one night.
Yeah, yeah. And logistically, it's quite the effort that we're putting into it because we were fairly early on in the process. We were able to get the charts for Porgy and Bess with help of our friend John Pappenbrook. And then we found the score of My Fair Lady, but we couldn't get the charts, even though that I found out where the charts were, but we weren't able to get those charts. So our friend Kyle Myers helped us with completely copying the score for us. So he made all separate parts for the entire band, so it wouldn't be possible without them. And our big band, the West Coast Jazz Hour Big Band, is a fixed group. So we always have like a first call list of people that we call first, and pretty much everybody who we contacted said yes right away to perform this music because it's so special what we're doing. Even for us, it's the most ambitious project that we've done so far.
I don't know. I think I might see you again in other arenas.
I certainly hope so.
Hollywood Bowl, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody from the Hollywood Bowl is watching, we're willing to play at the Hollywood Bowl. Just give us a call.
Or anywhere else for that matter, right?
That's right. That's right.
So your second half of the performance pays tribute, excuse me, to Shelley Maine's My Fair Lady Swings,
Yeah.
right? Tell us about that.
Just to mention that Gilbert Castellanos is the featured soloist for Porgy and Bess. And I mean, we were super quick on getting him on board because he's just a ridiculous trumpet player. So My Fair Lady Swings is very special because it's one of the earlier projects that the film composer John Williams arranged. At the time, he was known as Johnny Williams. And before he wrote all of the scores for Indiana Jones and for Star Wars and all of those, and Harry Potter, and you name it, he was a jazz piano player who worked together with Henry Mancini and a jazz arranger. And him and the drummer Shelly Manne were good friends of one another, and they recorded two records together. One is My Fair Lady, and then the other production is a CD called Man, That's Gershwin, where they, by coincidence, are also performing Gershwin songs, but it's not Porgy and Bess. And Josh Nelson, my co-leader, hit me to this recording, and I was just struck, like I was just knocked off my feet with this recording, with how well Shelly Manne plays on this recording, and B, because of the arrangements of John Williams, because you can hear those little influences from Star Wars and Indiana Jones and all of those movies in those arrangements. So that's why it's very, very special to really highlight some of the greatest still living jazz composers and musicians of the United States.
Wow, what an amazing opportunity. We really encourage our viewers to get out there on January 18th and just admire the pure raw talent that you have brought together. What do you hope that audiences will take away from these iconic jazz interpretations of Broadway classics?
Well, first of all, that they're going to enjoy themselves very much with two repertoires that are not really performed that much, and people should be quick because there are not that many tickets left for this concert.
Very
So
good to know.
yeah, that's a very good thing. But I think what we're just trying to do, besides the talent that we're bringing together with this project, is that it's a coming together of two worlds, Broadway and jazz, and that it fits together with one another really, really well, because jazz uses a lot of songs from the American Songbook, which comes from Broadway. And nowadays you have also a lot of crossover between jazz and Broadway and vice versa. So I think that people who like jazz, but also people who like Broadway, will definitely enjoy this concert. And it's our version of it. It's our interpretation of these two repertoires. So, you have the original recording, but our interpretation will be different because of the soloists that we're bringing to these two repertoires. So, and that includes myself because the drums are super important on My Fair Lady, and it's a very drum heavy suite. So I'm giving my interpretation of Shelley's version, but with Shelley's style in mind.
Right. All right, Kevin. Well, jazz fans will not want to miss this very unique show at the Irvine Barclay Theater, showing on January 18th. So, folks, you heard Kevin. Tickets are selling out, but to get yours, go to thebarclay.org and get your tickets for this absolutely amazing event. Kevin, I can't thank you enough for joining me here today. I know that audiences are going to be head over heels for this very unique concert experience. So I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
By George, she's got it. By George, she's got it. Now once again, where does it rain?
On the plain, on the plain.
And where's that soggy plain?